done. The boys are back in town. The Room Podcast live with the boys from New England MMA.org. Lars and Travis, welcome back for the third week in a row, boys. We're becoming great friends and great podcasters together. How was your week, boys?
Humid.
Yeah, good, man. A lot of sun. Yeah, humid.
What's up?
Work,
Uh,
kids.
that's it. That was it. Humid. And what else would you say, Lars? Nothing?
Oh, actually, I got to the lake this weekend. It was pretty nice. Father's Day lake session with the kids and a bunch of family. It was killer. Water was like 75, 80 degrees.
Excellent. Excellent.
A little jet skiing.
I spent
Little Kenny Powers.
I
jet
spent
skiing.
4 hours yesterday
You did what yesterday?
dealing with my pot plant. 4 hours out in the sun tending to my plants.
Awesome. Your plants are looking fabulous. So, in Maine, things grow a little different. When is crop season in Maine for them?
We're probably looking at second or third week in October. It's usually when like the days start getting really short, throws them into budding season, and then we get them. I usually tell people they'll be ready around November.
Now, who you telling? The town?
Yeah,
You're like the Robin Hood of Bud. Hey, you're like the Robin Hood of Bud there, Travis. Like that fucking Cage Titans show. Everyone in there was high because of Travis.
I don't know if everyone, but I may have had something to do with the after party. That's
He's like the Bud Fairy. He hangs out with the Tooth Fairy, but he's a little bit cooler.
All right, guys, man. We were gonna do a new thing every week. It was gonna be on Thursday. We were gonna record like maybe a half hour, 35 minutes of what's going on in New England, as far as what chat is going on online and stuff like that. And we decided to do it tonight to launch it off kind of. But we're gonna end up doing them on Thursday, have them pre-recorded, and we'll send them out on Friday. But we just want to let everyone know tonight. Wanted them to come on because we had the amateur and the pro number ones videos come out, which we started the show with. And Lars, man, you did a fabulous job on them, man. Again, the computer whiz and the techno wizard over here, Lars Borenson, getting it done, man. Lars.
Yeah.
What are you just the ambition flowing through you? You're starting to get creative. You're learning new tools on the computer. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I've been messing around with Final Cut Pro, which is pretty fun. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to like that type of stuff, like visual stuff, graphics, multimedia. So I enjoy it. There's definitely a learning curve to it, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. But it's a lot of fun. And it's something I think hopefully it's something the fans want to see too. If we can get into some mini documentaries down the road and do some stuff like that, I think it'd be pretty cool. But you take baby steps first.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, man, you're doing fabulous stuff, and it's just getting better and better, the content you're putting out there. I've been doing the podcasts and the interviews, but then you do the write-ups for them when we launch, like, an interview or something there. Man, I mean, it's like night and day, like the stuff that you put on there and just how you make the interview before you even see it or read it seem like you want to see it and read it. So thanks for doing all that, Lars. Lars used to be behind the scenes, but now he's starting to write. He's right out there, man. He's right in the thick of things, man. He's online. He's talking to people on comments. He's like, I think I even saw him talk shit once. So I'm rubbing off on him.
Not much of a shit talker. I'll tell it how it is, but I'm not much of a shit talker. But no, I enjoy writing too. Like I haven't been able to do this because I've been kind of on the other side of the table, the last 10 years. So. I got a passion for it. I think I'm pretty good at it, so it's fun and it brings a new perspective to our sport in the region. So it's cool. But hey, before we get on to the next thing, I just want to shout out to Canna Group. Canna Group, one of our partners, sent us some samples here. I got some full spectrum CBD lemon ginger hemp balm, 120 milligrams. I'm going to put it on right now. I got a bum wrist right now.
Whoever is messaging me on Messenger, don't do it, please. Whoever's messaging me on Messenger right now, stop it.
Just stop it.
Because they're still doing it. I'm going to have to get rid of you. Stop it. Stop messaging me on Messenger, please. Whoever's doing it, stop it. All right, go ahead. Do it again. I block you.
I just put some on. We're going to see how my wrist feels by the end of the show. give you some live results
Well,
here.
I'm going to give you some. I'm going to give you some live results right now because I got my package in last week. I already wore my shirt. It's already being washed for the first time. I have put that balm on my shoulder because I do have arthritis because I'm an old fossil. So my shoulder was really hurting because I went back to the gym Monday. So I used it Tuesday. And, it could have been a placebo. I don't know. I have to put more time into it, but I kind of felt good. The next day, they also gave me drops, and I'm not sure how many I have to take, but I always take more than I have to in anything. And there they are, the bedtime. That thing's put me right.
I take half a vial in the morning of the tincture.
I thought you were going to say half a bottle. I thought you were saying half a bottle. So that's
half a dropper full.
All right, well that's what I did. So that's
check out Canna Bio Group. They got some good stuff going on. They're one of our partners that we've taken on, one of our first sponsors. So shout out to them. They're just in the process of launching. I think they launched maybe yesterday or today their website, but we'll be doing some write-ups on them and whatnot. And also we're going to give out a T-shirt today. And one of these good-looking bad boys.
And we have a little contest. Travis will mention that later about what he is going to ask you a question. But we got things to talk about. Like I said, we were going to have that show on Thursday and release it on Friday about what we see online since the rankings come out. There's been a lot of chatter. I mean, it's lit fire under some fighters' asses. Gyms are starting to open a little bit. So there's a little chatter on there. First of all, we're going to have Roz Hilton call in. I would say 20 past 9, Roz. We're going to have you call in, and we're going to talk to Roz because there was a calling out there, and we get Roz's side of the story and clear it up and see if this fight's going to happen and all that other good stuff. But, guys, I did interview Matt Bissett yesterday, and he was on the CES Web podcast the week before with Bruce Boyington, and we discussed that last week, and, we were talking how that's the fight to make. And, the week before I was kind of 50-50. I was thinking, I wasn't really sold on it. And then you guys talked me into it. But now Matt yesterday talked me out of it. So, final thing on him. I'm going to play Matt's 2-minute segment talking about Bruce. And you guys can't talk in between that or they'll hear you behind. So don't talk any shit about anybody like we always do behind scenes. But yeah, Matt is not giving Bruce the next opportunity to fight for that belt, and we'll play that right now. If you haven't seen it, let me find it right now, and I'll throw it up there. So this is Matt Bissett, CES Featherweight World Champion, talking about Bruce.
There's a few fights that interest me, and obviously Bruce Boyington and I are going back and forth right now. I'd like for that fight to happen. I'd like for that fight to happen when he gets a victory, unfortunately. I'm actually looking at another guy. I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but we were talking about it before. I was supposed to fight May 15th for CES, and then the coronavirus happened. I'd like to still fight that guy.
Okay.
He's won 16 of his last 17. He's won 6 in a row, and it just, it makes a lot more sense, man. And, like I said, after my couple losses in the UFC, I wanted to get that victory first, feel good, and remind everybody around here that I am that good, rather than just coming in and be given a shot at the title after losing 2 in a row. It doesn't make any sense. Coming off a loss and then getting a shot at the title does not make sense. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your argument is as far as Bruce being number 2 and I'm being number 1. I don't care if the argument is he was the champion before he gave up the title so that I could come in and beat the crap out of a guy instead of beating the crap out of him. I don't understand. I understand that argument, and I don't think it's a valid argument. My track record is better than his. He fights good guys too, but he loses against them. He's fought a ton of good guys, and he's lost against all of them except maybe Sean Soriano. And maybe Saud, off the top of my head. I don't have his record in front of me, but he's good. Bruce is good. Don't misquote me. He's good. I just think that if you're going to fight for a championship, you should not be coming off a loss. I think that it just looks better. Give me a fight. Let him fight on the main card. 2 fights before me, maybe co-main event, whatever. He wins, I win. We get in each other's face at the end of the night. Tell him to fuck off, and we sign a fucking contract right there. You know what I mean? It's just better for everybody.
It sounds like a plan to me, Matt. That's it. All right. Right there, man. Hey, I got some good editing skills, guys, huh? That fit right in there. It was really good, and I'm surprised you guys can hear it because usually things don't work out for me in the room podcast when I get to the technical things. But I have to give another shout out to Brian Rossi for hooking me up and building my computer so I can actually do stuff that we just did. So, guys, you heard it, Matt Bessette talking about how he's going to fight the opponent, or he's looking to fight the opponent he had when he was matched up in May. Like I said, and we said, he wants Bruce to wait. He wants Bruce to get a quality win. He doesn't believe in 1 and 2 if Bruce is coming off a loss. The big thing is Bruce coming off a loss and the way he lost. Matt is adamant about not giving a title shot or not fighting for a title shot coming off a loss, and that's one of the main reasons why he didn't fight for the title when he came back from the UFC, because he was coming off a loss, so he didn't think it was right. So I see his point, and Bruce is probably going to fight at Neff, get that win, and then maybe we'll have something, hopefully by the end of the year. Who knows? That Neff fight might be at the end of the year, the way, shit is flowing right now. So, guys, what's your take on that? And do we put this to rest tonight and just let them chat it out themselves online, and if it picks up steam again, we jump on it? What do we do here?
I tend to agree with Matt in this case. It's a tough situation because I like both fighters, have a ton of respect for both fighters, and their career resume kind of speaks for itself. Matt's 24-9. He's coming off back-to-back wins. He's never lost the title at CES. Bruce, 17-12, fought some of the toughest dudes on PFL. He's got, and he never lost the belt at CES. I mean, it is tough in the sense that I don't like to see title shots off losses either, but I've seen it before. Like it's within New England. It's number 1 against number 2. I think you just have to kind of make it that way. If Bruce has to fight at NEF and Matt has to fight one more time and retain the title at CES, so be it. But if we could get this fight in, like you said, sometime near the end of the year, all things considered, everything has to play out and no fights are given. But that would be what we'd like to see, I think.
All right. One thing, somebody's asking me a question on Instagram, not to interrupt this conversation about Matt and Bruce, but this is a point I want to get out now because we are going to be talking about Nate the Snake Andrews. Someone on Instagram is going, why wasn't he ranked in the New England MMA rankings? And we did explain that, but guys, can you explain that to the people, David from Instagram?
Yeah, he, Nate hasn't fought in New England for a New England promotion yet since being on a major promotional card. So he technically doesn't qualify. You got to fight with one of our, 9 New England promotions and be considered in our rankings. So Nate hasn't fought locally in a while. Once he does, he'll be in.
Yeah, and to answer your question, also, Nate, when he went live with CES, he even understood why he's not on the rankings because he fought for PFL, and he had a scheduled Bellator fight after that, and we don't, Nate coming back, we didn't know, what was going to go on him, so we can't throw him in the rankings. That's like throwing, Sukum Tai and all them people in there. So he's going to be in there next round, and we are going to talk about Nate tonight, too. Probably after Raz comes on. Raz is going to come on in like 5 minutes. So, guys, Laz, your take on this before we move on the Bessette.
So, my opinion, Bruce needs this fight a lot more than Bessette needs this fight. Bruce is ending, he's 40, 41 years old. He's ending, he's coming towards the end of his MMA career. He wants to go out with a bang. He'd love to capture that belt again. But Matt, he's a stud, and he's just coming from fighting from the UFC, and he could find himself back in the UFC again. But if he lost to a Bruce Boyington, it'd be really difficult for Matt Bessette to get back to those big leagues. So it's a tough fight for Matt to take because there's some risk there. Granted, he has the confidence that he's going to beat him, and if he's that confident, take the fight. But I think Bessette needs it much more than Boyington does. So honestly, I don't think this fight gets made. It just seems like they're moving further apart, which is fine. I mean, go about your way and take care of your own career, but let's not talk shit online and not figure it out and get it on paper.
Awesome.
Yeah, Lars, I think the tough thing with that is going to be the longer or the deeper Bruce gets into his career and fighting on the regional scene, that he's going to want to fight more in NEF than travel down to Connecticut and Rhode Island to fight Matt. That's the thing. Like, Bruce knows he's got a few fights left, and he's going to want to do that inside the NEF cage if at all possible.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think it happens. So it's fun to talk about, but it's unlikely it's going to happen inside the cage.
Well, there you go. Matt, talking to him yesterday, he has a lot of fights ready. He's not going away for a while. He said he loves the fight. He's in a great place right now with his career, his job, his family, his little daughter. And, when we're firing on all cylinders again, it'll be nice to see Matt, the Mangler Bissett, ruling New England once again. And can't wait to see what his matchup is. The dude he talked about, I think he said won 16 out of 17 fights or something like that. I mean, we got to look that guy up somewhere. We gotta put in the pieces there and find out.
And just think about that type of win for Matt Bissett's career versus a Bruce Boyington type of win for Matt Bissett's career. I mean, those are two different worlds.
Exactly.
Who knows who this guy is, but if he's won 16 out of 17, that's not many people do that. So
yeah.
That's Matt making another bit in the UFC right there.
Yeah, and well, Matt, also talked about going to fight. Before he got the fight in Connecticut, in his hometown, he was thinking of going to One or somewhere, or Ryzen, somewhere. He wanted to travel and fight where the roots of fighting came from. And then he got, the offer he couldn't refuse, fighting in his backyard right in Hartford. And so he put that on hold. But that isn't off the burner still. I mean, Matt could defend this title, and then he could fight overseas. He could go get his dream there. So there's a lot of potential for Matt. I mean, what's Matt, 33, 34? How old is he? Is he that old?
Yeah, he's right in there.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, too. He's at the point in his career where he's been everywhere. Essentially, he's done everything. He's fought in the UFC. He's held a regional title, defended a regional title. So at this point in his career, it would make sense for him to start checking off bucket list items. Yeah. Fighting overseas, fighting in, Japan, maybe, Abu Dhabi, something like that, some of those big fight areas, and taking advantage of the situation that he's groomed for himself, having such a career.
That's funny, Lars. You're answering people online. I love it because I'm trying to go back, and I was going to tell you some stuff that they're saying, but you already got the beard joke. And Andrew Jacobs is saying mini docs would be awesome. Flow Combat would love it if I bet too, which means people are going to be picking up the stuff that we're doing. I mean, they're already doing it now. Them 2 videos we put out today, Lars. The first one, the pro video, is probably up to 450 views on Facebook. It's got like 100 on YouTube. And the amateur took off on YouTube faster than the pros. It's already at probably 100 views, and you only put it out like 3 hours ago or so. So,
awesome.
Join our YouTube channel, New England MMA. It's out there. It's been out there for a while. There's loads of stuff on there. Get on there, subscribe, so we can get 1,000 followers, and then we can do special things on there, and really use YouTube for a good use in New England. So. Guys, let's move on. You got anything else to say before I get Roz?
Yeah, is Roz hopping on?
Yeah, I'm gonna text him now. You can say a couple more things while I'm texting him.
Yeah. No, so I was kind of like thinking about the chatter that's been going on since the rankings got released, and I don't want to say that the rankings are the only thing that's creating this chatter in these matchups. I think it's helping. We're at a period where there's no local MMA going on, so there's really not much to talk about, and for some reason there seems to be a lot of talk going on online, which is cool. But just off the top of my head, I was writing down, all right, some of the matchups we might get, or the talking that's begun maybe because of the rankings, is Boyington versus Bissett. We got Roz, who's coming on, versus Tyler King. Connor Berry, Jimmy Manning.
Yep.
Joe Giannetti, Nate Andrews. Mitch Raposa, Darren Mima.
Yep.
And wasn't Nate Russell, Tyler Randall?
Yeah. There was some talk right there. I got some.
Dan Cormier too.
Yeah,
Tyler
Dan
Randall.
Cormier.
Yeah.
You were talking about that week before. I mean, I
That's
don't.
8 fights.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk to
Awesome.
Roz, and then we can cover some of them fights after. Let me just give him a text.
Yeah, man.
And,
I was just hyping the show, Steve. I'm just hyping the show, bro.
No, I know. Laz is all fired up. All right, there he is. I'm gonna tell him I'm calling now.
Pick up Wrath.
No, I gotta tell him first. Calling now. See what he says. See what he says. For such a huge guy, he's so
Sarah-Jean Jacques, thank
he's
you,
so
buddy.
laid
That's awesome.
back while he talk. Like he's so laid back and a really good dude. Very, very.
Yeah, he had me
Gets
at
his
his
point
house
across.
a couple weeks ago when Chris was up there, and
he's
they
all
couldn't
set.
have been better. They could have been better hosts to me up there. That was pretty cool.
All right, let me get his picture up there. It's cutting my nose off. That's all right because it's too big anyway. All right, let me call him. Roz Hilton, coming up.
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
Hey, Roz, how are you, buddy?
Pretty good. Just hanging out at home, waiting to chat with you gentlemen. How you feeling?
Nice. How's it look out there? You watching the show or you just listening?
Well, I was watching the show, but then, my screen turned into a piece of my ear, so I'll have to check it out after we're done tonight.
That's awesome. That's one big ear in that screen there, Roz.
Yes, sir.
Hey, my man. As you know, I got Laz and Travis on the show, and Travis was just talking about how he saw you last week, man. How was that, and how'd that go?
Yeah, just a few weeks ago. I had Chris down, Sal and I have been getting the work in. He's got BKFC 11 next month that he's getting ready to go and smash his boy on, and I'm looking to get some traction and get Tiger up here so that we can get a match going, because it's actually a year ago today that I actually signed a contract for a fight with him. That was the second one that fell through, and I guess third time's the charm. Either he steps up or he needs to shut up.
Your wife did send me that contract, so I do have some paper, some evidence that contract was signed by you, Roz. So
You know me. I go to the store.
yeah, I mean, you get your facts straight, bro. I would hate to go against you in court.
Thank you very much. I just wish that my ex-wife had taken your purse.
I have one of those too, brother. All right, so Roz, we're going to talk a little bit about Tyler, or a lot of bit about Tyler. Let me get his picture up here, even though you probably don't want it up there, but it'll look good with you two guys next to each other.
Hey, that's fine.
And
Not everybody knows who he is anymore, so please, by all means, let's get all the information out in the open. That's what I'm looking for.
All right, Roz. It's no secret that he made a post or he made something or a comment, and then you responded with a go live, and I had nothing. I didn't know anything about it. So let's talk a little bit about how this started, and how this, disrespect and from him to you lit a fire on your ass to get this fight going.
Yeah, it really did. That wasn't my not my best showing, unfortunately. So just to give you a little context here, he and I actually started off on much more neutral and then somewhat friendly terms. We were supposed to train together. I think it was 3 years ago or so. We had talked a couple of times, and then I didn't hear from him for a while. And then he popped up after either my first or second pro win, either with Mike Hansen, who's, again, great guy. I know all you guys know who the mustache is. And then we had an out-of-towner. Eric Ramsey came in from Oklahoma. So after one of these two fights, he pops up on the comment and just, said something random to grab my attention. And then there were some conversations with local promotion to get one going. Never gained any traction. And then a year ago, I signed a contract because we were supposed to get one. So here's a funny little tidbit. Mentioning Chris Sorrow, if I had not fought Chris, if Tyler had jumped on and signed that contract, which I told him I'm at a fixed rate. If you need to negotiate for more money, go ahead and do so, but I want this fight. If he had taken that fight, I would have never met Chris, and we would have never gone through with it then and there. But fortunately, fate intervened, and I got one of my best friends now. And fast forward a little while longer, we've got my wife, who is defending me on Facebook after my loss to Chris. And Tyler jumps on and starts heckling her about he's only as good as his last win and so on. So they go back and forth a bit. And I thought, whatever, he's going to do his thing. And okay, it's part of the game. But I took issue with the fact that he was already starting to lean into my wife instead of me. We're fighters. We're supposed to be dealing with each other directly or with management or a promotion or whatever. Then we fast forward to the Terrence fight, and as you all know, Steve stopped it. I don't know how unconscious I was, but he said that it was time. So I take a loss. I walk outside the cage, and then Tyler bumps into me and does the thumb across the throat, I'm gonna kill you type of thing. Which, I said some smack talk right back to him because, we're out in public. I'm not gonna not respond. But I didn't think much of it until about a month later, my wife tells me that he was doing it to her and my 15-year-old daughter, cage side. Okay? This is where I take issue. You want to get in my face? You want to call me all kinds of trash? By all means. Run your mouth. Part of the game. We all got that competitive edge. We all got that aggression going. Fine. But leave my family out of it for one. And if you're going to threaten somebody, it better not be my wife or my kid. Emotionally, I want to break this man and leave him in a gutter somewhere. However, I'm a professional athlete. So I've given him the opportunity to step up and back up his words. Because thus far, the only interaction we've had as of late is him heckling my wife and threatening said wife and child in a public venue. This is what drove me over the edge. Because I get home one day after work, shortly after hearing that, and I find a friend request, and that message that basically to me said that I'm too scared to fight him. When in fact, it has been the complete opposite. And you should have screenshots right now saying how difficult he is to work with. He has deliberately overbid himself to more than the two promotions that I've had very specific interactions with in relation to him. And he wanted an appearance fee from NEF. I mean, come on, dude. This isn't Bellator. This isn't TFL. This isn't the UFC. We're on the regional circuit. Let's give the promoters something to work with. Obviously, we want a good fight. We want to get paid. But let's also be rational with who we're dealing with and what level we're dealing with right now. He's not on the Ultimate Fighter anymore. He's right down here with me, trying to make a living like everybody else does. If he wants to leverage his name, his image, and all of that, fine. By all means, do your thing. But deliberately overbidding just so that you can save face is utterly ridiculous. And especially after all the online drama that he's been running with. So here we are. It's personal. He's being an imbecile. And normally, where I would allow that to pass, he's taken that extra step over the line to where I feel like there is no other recourse. Once upon a time, we could go out, we could have a fist fight behind a bar, and it would be over with. But that's not the time. So here we are. Third time's the charm. Step up or shut up. I have nothing else to say after this. That's my side.
So have you reached out to any promotions while this chat has been going on? Is there any
Oh, absolutely.
like, I know, do you know if Tyler's been reaching out at all, or was it just like him trying to, get you riled up and he hasn't followed through with it?
As far as I know for any fact, he has not followed through on anything. He is once again stirring the pot, and he's been put out on blast by more than just me. The owner of Premier, actually, Karen Catlesh. I had a great time when I was down there. Didn't get the results I wanted, but still, it was a good promotion to work under. And, I haven't had any downstep. NEF has been great to me. CS is great. Premier is doing the same thing. A lot of these promoters are really just looking to put on a show and do the best that they can, generally speaking. Karen went out there when Tyler tried to put on some type of bravado comment and said that he had done exactly what I've been describing here. He's constantly saying that he's going to do something, and then after we come to an agreement, he goes and says, nope, wait, I want more money for this, I want more money for that, I want more money for an appearance. And at this point, it's all just head games that I don't have time for. So, like I said, either come throw down or leave me and my family alone. This is the most ridiculous schoolyard nonsense that I've had to deal with since Brad Lee. And that was his pro debut, all right? I expect somebody to act a fool when they're getting all hyped up with adrenaline. It's their first time out, and, you got the crowd and whatever. But this man's been in, 17, 18 professional fights? Come on. Really?
Hey guys, anything you want to say to Tyler? You guys have been following this. I of course follow it all over, and Tyler's no stranger to jumping on comments, calling anyone out, and stating his opinions on a lot of different topics. I'm cordial with Tyler. I cringe a lot when I see stuff that he writes. I mean, but people.
I don't know where I saw this, but somebody called him Tiger cringeworthy somewhere.
But
so,
I mean,
I don't know whose Facebook page or comment or whatever it was on, but he was like, Tiger the king of cringeworthy or some crap like that. I don't know.
That's
whatever
awesome.
It was hilarious.
Well, it's his stick, so I mean, it's not a very good one to some people, but I mean, he's sticking with it. So, hey guys, you got anything to say to Roz or anything about this matchup or let it fly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
Roz,
I've been
this is
kind
Lars.
of
wait.
What's going on?
Wait a minute. Roz, that question was for them. Let them, they're going to talk for a second.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Hey, Roz, it's Lars. How's it going?
Hey, thanks, Lars.
No, honestly, the gauntlet has been thrown, which is pretty cool to see because you're a pretty mellow guy. And honestly, like when I first heard about the fight, I was kind of like semi-interested. But after hearing you talk, I'm all in now. This is cool because didn't know some of that behind the scenes stuff. And at this point, it's time for Tyler to step up. Obviously, the opportunity's been there a few times, but now you're a pretty chill dude. But are you going to approach this fight any differently? You obviously want to go in there for the kill, but you're not one to be, too aggressive out of the gate. Do you foresee you guys standing and banging in the middle of the cage?
I'm sorry, you broke up just a little bit. What was that last question about in the middle of the cage?
Do you think this is going to be a stand and bang, or do you think Tyler might try to take it to the ground and you know what I mean?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, Lars, I really do feel like his only chance is on the ground with the jits. I mean, like I said, last fight out there, we all saw him go down to a rear naked choke. The only thing he's done of note lately has been jiu-jitsu matches. And, I mean, let's face it, they're, 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row, every time somebody touches his chin, he just goes to sleep. So, no, he doesn't want to stand and trade. He's a little too flat-footed from what I've seen to really have any level of prolific striking. So he's going to try to barrel in and drag it down to where he feels strong. It's a smart thing to do.
Excellent. Well, we have a card scheduled for NEF. When is that? Is that October? Is that the NEF?
September 22nd.
Is it, guys? I mean, shit's happening out there. Is this I'm asking this to all three of you. Is that a real thing that could happen in your eyes? What's your opinion on this card in September? Can it happen?
Yeah, so here's my take on it. The way things are evolving right now, I don't foresee a place being able to hold more than 500 people in the state of Maine before the end of the year.
Mhm.
And I don't foresee how these promotions can put fights on and make it profitable with only putting 500 people in the seats. These guys, they stay alive and make money through ticket sales. And if you can't put at least 1,000 people in a building and sell tickets, you're probably not going to make any money as a promotion. So I think
Mhm.
if if these fights happen, they're going to happen in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is going to allow up to 2,500 people or so in a space. And if that means we are going to New Hampshire every weekend, we're going to New Hampshire every weekend. But I think if the promotions were smart, they'd be looking to get in that state sooner than later. So I think you're going to see more than one promotion in New Hampshire when this is all said and done.
Well, we can move around. We can. I mean, New Hampshire's closer than Maine. We can get Roz and Tyler on a fight in New Hampshire somewhere. I'm sure it can happen. Um, Roz, if Tyler doesn't bite and want to follow through with this or just plays with you, more in the future, is there anyone else on this list that interests you, or is there anyone else out there that would be a fun fight that, or is it just you're just thinking of Tyler right now, and when the cards open up, then you're thinking about another opponent.
Oh no, I don't have the list out in front of me right now, but thanks to the top 10 list, I'm pretty sure there's 3 of those middle spots that I'll gladly jump onto instead. And as I said, with Tyler's personal, that's obviously the fight that I want, is to just get that done, taken care of. But that doesn't mean I'm ignoring the fact that there are other great opportunities there. I think, who was it? I can't remember right now. One of the guys, I think it was Keith, had jumped on the comments and
Keith Bell.
said something about. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Bad news. I've seen him fight. He's a gamer. He's another one who likes to be able to do a guy.
He actually he knocked out Tyler King.
Sorry, what was that?
He knocked out Tyler King also.
Yeah, and
Who hasn't?
honestly, that would be the better fight.
Oh,
I mean,
fucking
sure. Obviously, I want the rematch with Terrence at some point, but I need to have that coming off of a win. So that's another conversation I'll continue on. But yeah, there are some really good fighters in the top 10. So by all means, I'll jump on there with whoever is willing to step in. I have a certain way of going about things. As I don't know where I read this quote either, but somewhere in my recent readings, I've seen that combat is a form of worship, and that is how I look at this. And that's probably another reason why Tyler's kind of rung my bell a little bit is I have a certain level of respect for anyone who's willing to sign a contract and step in for a one-on-one confrontation where you are literally playing with your own life. It says indemnity up to and including death, any bodily injury. I have a certain level of respect for anyone who's willing to take that, 100%. But he's gone and walked through my temple with his shoes on, mud all on his boots, pissed on the altar. I mean, come on. I got nothing but disdain for this child, and he needs a spanking. So I'm looking to hand out some punishment first. But barring that, I'm a professional, and I'm looking to go wherever the best competition is, and I see some really good names on there. So sure, let's see what happens.
Awesome. Before I let you give your final say and maybe some thank yous to some people out there, I'm just going to say one thing. I did contact Roz and I did contact Tyler King, and we did talk. I wanted them both on the show together tonight, especially to have them both Skyped in like you two guys there. And Roz accepted 100%. And Tyler King, he did answer me, but he gave me a kind of joke comment. What do you want to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't follow through with it. I figured if he really wanted to come on the show, he would reach out to me. And because I'm not going to chase people, I'm going to ask you, you want to come on? You come on. If you don't, I move on. Roz came on. Roz wanted to tell, everyone out there what's going on, that, the contract is fresh ink if Tyler wants it. So I love it. I love it, Roz, that you came on and you cleared it up and you told us how this all transpired and how you're going to end it if you get the opportunity. So, dude, shout out whatever you want. Family, friends, training partners, anyone you want. Then we'll let you enjoy the rest of your night and our show.
Yeah, absolutely everyone. My family, of course, wife, children have always been there dealing with my insanity all the way through this camp. So, well, any and all throughout my career. So I wouldn't be anywhere without my support system, and it all starts with them. My coaches. I could go through the whole list, but I'm going to stick with just my corners and hope that everybody else understands. So, Coach Andrew Campbell, Coach John Rayo, Chris McBean have been instrumental in getting me where I need to be so that I can be ready for absolutely everyone. And they brought together some really amazing gyms, dojos, and groups of people who continue to grind even in the middle of pandemic season. So I thank you all and my training partners who are coming in to give me the work even in the middle of all this insanity. All my sponsors, starting from PNC, who's been right there from the beginning, right here on 85 Western in South Portland. Recently Jacked and Jilled is also right down the road from me. I'll be going in there for strength and conditioning and getting some personal training. So if you're in South Portland area, please Jacked and Jilled for fitness and personal training. Dark Harbor Tattoo Society, Shark Mars and the guys put on some really amazing artwork on people. And Ryan's Own Beef Jerky. I know you and Travis.
Oh yeah, I ate I think I ate the plastic wrap around it. I ate
right?
Yeah, we would like they were like it was like licorice to us. It just you know
See?
it was good
the
stuff.
Man is a genius.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I have to say.
100%. And yeah, everybody out there, please fly local. There are a lot of businesses who are hurting right now. I've only mentioned a handful, but please remember, we got a lot of people who are struggling. I know we all are, but if you have anything at all to help with, please fly local, help out your local community. And on my own personal standpoint, I'd like to tell absolutely everyone, please, martial arts is how we get better people in general, better behavior, better ways to move through life. And especially where we've had so much controversy lately, I'm putting myself out there for law enforcement as well. You all know that I've personally trained hand-to-hand with a handful of officers recently, but over the course of my life, with a lot. Our police force has one of the biggest jobs to do with some of the smallest amount of resources to do it with. So, any officers out there who aren't getting regular training, if you're not spending at least 20% of your time training, please, come find me. I am not hard to find, either physically or on social media, and I'm glad to help you in whatever way is going to improve life for you and the people around you. So please, anybody else, if you guys know any law enforcement who is not enrolled in regular training 2-3 times a week on a minimum, grab them by the hand, walk them into the dojo as soon as you can, or gym, or whatever happens to be near you, and help our civil servants get to a higher level of expertise, because the more experts you have, the less mistakes you have, and the more mistakes can be corrected before they turn terrible.
Excellent. Jesus, that I should have had you end the show with that. My God, I'm gonna have to cut that out and reshare it at the end of the show. That was fabulous, brother, man. Good stuff, man. I love it, bro. Thanks so much, Roz, for coming on and sharing your story with about King and putting it out there, bro. I love it, and we'll definitely keep in touch and talk. I might see it. I don't know if you're gonna travel to Chris's fight, but I might take a Greyhound and go see him.
I am 100% doing everything I can to be right there. He's been there for me. I'm going to be there for him. And thank you guys. I know I'm a little erratic and all over the place tonight, but I appreciate your patience with me and all you do for us here on the regional scene. So keep it up. Keep spreading the word. We love it.
All right, my man. Anything you want to say to Roz before he goes, guys? They just flipped you off.
Hey,
Never mind. It's over.
I just want to say one thing. I want to say hi to Tater and Scroat before he hangs up the phone.
What are they? Animals?
And he'll
Pets?
know what that means.
What's he got? Stuffed animals? What are you talking about?
Raph will know what that means. That's his wife's dog, Tater and Scroat.
We're all animal lovers here. All animal lovers. All right.
Remember that.
All right. I'm gonna let you go, Roz. We're gonna talk about a couple other matchups we saw online, and then we're gonna end the show, and then go enjoy our nights as well. So thanks a lot again, buddy.
Hell yeah. Sounds good. Get on that. I want to hear about this too. Thank
All right,
you.
buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.
You too.
Good stuff. Hey, do you want to give away the shirt or at least
Yeah, let's give it
put
away
some-
now because we have about 15 people on, and we'll give it away now. We have some people on Instagram that could probably play too, but that video is going to shut down soon because that only goes for an hour, and then Instagram shuts down. So go ahead. We're giving away a NewEnglandMMA.org shirt. Nice shirt right there. It's very breathable shirt. It's a great summer shirt, I must say. It's gray too. It goes with
It
everything.
works as a mask as well.
Yes, it
Yes.
does. It doesn't work like anything else out there either. So, how are we giving this away? Travis has some kind of contest. Travis is a memorabilia collector and MMA guru of special little knickknacks. He's probably got a safe the size of his house somewhere stashed with all this shit. What are we doing here, Travis? What are we doing? We're giving it away, and how are we giving it away?
All right, so I got this card in the mail today, Rob Font. It's from 2020 Topps Knockout. It's serial numbered out of 50 cards made. I have approximately 20 of them total. I want you to tell me what number this is out of 50, and the closest person or the person who gets it right first will decide. Somebody's going to get a free t-shirt.
Someone's getting a free t-shirt. So 1 through 50, you get the
1 through
number.
50.
You get the number. You get the closest to it. You get a shirt tonight. So, Lars, can you type that in the feed there? Can you put that? Did you already
Sure.
do it? I was gonna say he's way ahead of me. He's got it's already out there. So, all right, guys. While Lars is doing that, let me get these pictures out of there, and then we'll talk about the next matchup. All right, guys.
We've already got guesses rolling.
What's that?
We've already got guesses rolling in, and
Yeah.
no one's got it
Oh,
right
there
yet.
it is. All right, cool. Terrence already on it. Terrence, I don't think it's... Oh, we have extra large.
But by the end of the show, if nobody gets it correct, it's going to be the closest.
Yeah, it's going to be the closest to the
Yeah.
number if no one gets it. What'd Lars say? Oh, I thought Lars say I pick 1 to 50. I thought you picking 50 numbers. All right, guys, we had a couple of other interesting chats online, and we know fighters are on edge. They want to fight. They need things to talk about. We come out with these rankings, and fighters are talking about the rankings, and then some people jump on their feeds and say "fuck you" or whatever.
Can we just stop real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Connor Berry, you just guessed the same number somebody 3 people before you guessed, dude. It doesn't work that way. Connor Berry, that's a different number.
Bro, and drawing cool pictures.
Fucking 3 people guessed 33. Holy shit, you're all getting a fucking sleeve
You
of the
can
shirt.
do that.
We're gonna have to cut the shirt in 3 pieces, you fucks.
Oh, God.
Who
Anyway.
joined late? Connor Berry.
He came just for the contest. All
He
right,
loves
guys.
his free
I think we should
samples.
send him a t-shirt anyways.
Hey,
I think
Aaron
he gets a
Hughes.
t-shirt
Oh my,
anyways.
oh my God. All right. So, hey, since Connor Berry's on, let's talk about Connor Berry. Connor Berry, man, just signed with who did Top Game Management? Tyson Sade just signed. And that's how this matchup transpired, or how the chatter about this. He put out a post saying that he signed with Connor put out a post saying he signed with Top Game Management. Everyone's congratulations. And then there was a post or a comment by Jimmy Manning that Connor did not like. So Connor called him out and said, "I'll stop my my new career, or my being managed by them, and you'll be my first victim." So there was some chat going on and back and forth, and Connor got a message from Jimmy that he'll gladly take the fight at Cage Titans, and Connor seems to want that fight. So I have their both pictures up here with their record. Jimmy Manning, I don't know if he's still fighting, if he's, no one's fighting right now. We understand that, but he's still in that mind that he still wants to fight. I don't know. What do you think about this matchup, and what do you think about as far as Jimmy Manning coming back to the cage, and would this be the fight that he would want to come back to?
man, I don't know if this is I don't think this is the fight that Jimmy wants to come back to. You look at Connor's record, and his losses are to tough dudes. Connor's legit, and Jimmy hasn't fought in a little while, and I think there's no question Jimmy would step up and fight Connor. I don't think there would be any problem making the fight. I just think that Connor's more fight ready. Connor's been head in the game a little bit longer than Jimmy has, and Connor's headed in a different direction than Jimmy Manning right now.
Lars?
Yeah, I agree with what Travis is saying. I think Jimmy's pretty old, getting up. I don't want to say old. He's getting up there, right?
I think he's around 40. I think he hit 40. He might be 41.
40? Yeah. So, I mean, he's up there. I don't know if he's been training much over the past. I think his last fight was Dan Dubuque, who handled him pretty grotesquely.
I think he might have had one fight against that. He had a rematch, I think, against.
Yeah. I think Raymond Yanez.
Yeah, he rematched him. Yep.
Yeah, and he beat him. But the Dubuque fight was just it was a bloodbath. It was gross. But yeah, they're on two different trajectories in my opinion. You got Connor Berry, who again has lost the stiffest of the stiff competition. Manning's kind of been on the outskirts of the regional scene for a few years. I thought he was retired at one point and came back for that Dubuque fight, maybe. So who knows? I mean, it'd be cool to get, I like the matchup. I think it'll be entertaining, but I think, Connor's a better fight.
Well, here's the thing. When we did the rankings, Jimmy was actually on the list to pick for the rankings. So he could be, he could have been 11. Who knows? He could have been 12. Connor's 8. I think Connor should be higher than that. Talking to Connor offline, he says, looking at Jimmy's record, that's, his record's better than Connor's. That's what Connor told me. He said Jimmy's record's better than mine.
Look at who he beat, though.
That's
Look at
we understand.
Let me read off Jimmy Manning's wins here. He's 6-1, so his record looks great, and that's a little deceiving though because he's beaten an 0-0 Ryan DiBartolomeo. He's beaten an 0-0 David McClendon. He's beaten an 0-0 Kevin Schroeder. He's beaten an 0-8 Montoya Swilling. He's beaten a 7-15 Fernando Perez, and then beat a 7-16 Fernando Perez. So, and then the one tough fight he had, Dan Dubuque, he lost. So I don't know. I just don't. I don't think they're on the same level.
Well, all right. Here's where it comes into play. Here's where this comes into play. It was the shit talk and the disrespect that's getting this fight going. Do you think fights should happen because of that, regardless of ranking or records? If somebody wants to fight somebody just because they called them out, and they're willing to fight, does it matter if number 8 fights number 12 or number 5 fights number 11 in your eyes?
No, this is a tough situation right here. I think, like I said, Connor's career is going in a trajectory than Jimmy is, and I don't think Connor should even be wasting his time right now with Jimmy Manning. Jimmy Manning is one of those guys that would take the fight just to put his name back out there, shoot some shit, talk some shit, and go into Cage Titans and probably get submitted by Connor Berry, I would assume.
Yeah, initially Connor was calling for 2 other South Shore guys.
Yes.
And Brandon Fleming and Zach Deep Sabatino. And all of a sudden, a third South Shore guy inserts himself into the picture. I think those first 2 fighters are better fight for Connor Berry at this point in his career. We know Brandon Fleming is taking a little bit of time away. He's having a baby soon. I think he's not planning to fight until next year, but who knows? No one might be fighting until next year, so might not be a big deal. Or Zach DeSab fight. Either one of those I like a lot better than Jimmy Manning, but who's going to, a lot of times it comes down to who signs on the dotted line first.
And who can sell them tickets, and like Dave Sparrow saying out there, it doesn't matter. Drama makes good fights. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be great for us to lead up to it. We'll have plenty of content, and it'll be taking place at Cage Titans. We know that fight would have to take place at there, so it'd be a pretty packed house and a lot of energy going in there. So it's up in the air. I mean, Conor wants to fight. Jimmy hasn't. I don't know if Jimmy has messaged him again. I don't know if there's any more dialogue. But if there is, and Conor still wants to fight, we'll be around and ready to promote it for both of these guys and get it going.
Yeah, I wonder if some of Jimmy's trash talk might have come from a night of partying, maybe a little bit.
Well,
because
that's where mine comes from.
I don't know. I think you might be barking up the wrong tree. I love Jimmy, but I mean, like I said, I just think.
You know what? It also tips you off.
He needs to stay in the
When you see his comments on Threads at like 1:30 in the morning, you're like, wonder what's going on right now.
Yeah. Well, he's enjoying the good life. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, and then shit's happening, and he's a fighter, and he sees somebody, making it through and getting better things, and he's like, hey, I want to take that guy out. Maybe I can have what's his, or I don't know what goes through fighters' minds, why they just jump up.
It makes a ton of sense for Jimmy.
Well, Conor
makes a ton of sense.
Just responded. He wants to smash Jimmy. So it looks like we can put D-Sab and Fleming to rest at this point.
Yeah. Like I said, I talked to Conor. He's like, I want this fight. It's like,
cool. Let's do it.
All right. So, I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, like we said, fights might not be happening, but, maybe it'll happen in the parking lot or something. Who fucking knows?
Mike Pulver, Silver
Conor,
Platter. Silver
fight
Platter,
D-Sab.
Mike.
What?
There you go.
Is someone saying something?
Fight D-Sab.
Who's saying that?
I'm just saying, put your career. Conor knows, and I think Jason will tell him this to his face. Put your career headed in the right direction. Jimmy Manning is not putting your career headed in the right direction. You need a D-Sab or somebody else. You can smash, like Steve just said, you can smash Conor. I mean, you can smash Jimmy out in the parking lot at Cage Titans, and he'd probably let you.
What if we do Conor has 2 fights in a night? He gets Jimmy Manning first and then D-Sab second. That'd be kind of cool.
You're an asshole. Hey, you know what's funny? Conor asked to get off point. He asked if his number 33 was the winner. Yeah, you get the lower level of the shirt, Conor. You can have the belly the belly part of it. All right, guys, let's move on.
Let's get more guesses. 1 to 50.
2 fights would want money. Fucking Conor, I love that kid. All right, so let's move on because hey, this is a big one. This is huge. I mean, we thought Bruce and Matt talking and having them on CES and talking was huge. This is huge. Guys, you know what I'm going to talk about next. Nate Andrews and Jojo Giannetti. Come on, guys, this is right in your field. You guys take the lead here. Talk about this, guys.
Holy regional MMA boner. This is like right from the gods. When I saw Andrews on the CES podcast the other day, and he kind of brought up our rankings and what's going on. He was bummed he wasn't on him, first of all, but then he immediately called out number 1, Joe Giannetti. I was like, ooh, didn't see that coming, and I kind of like that matchup. And then Giannetti responded, and it seems like he's all for it. So I think it's a great matchup. Both these guys with slick submission skills, who fought at the highest level. It would be really cool to see. Does that happen? Probably happens at CES.
Oh, well, it was for the belt. It's the belt. Yeah. The belt is on the line.
So if and I think it's a good matchup for both guys because they both got street cred. They're both super tough fighters, and it's a big win on the regional scene if you get that W, and it gets you noticed real quick by the next level. The guy who loses, you take a step back, but you're still not out of the picture of getting to that next level again. So I think it's an awesome matchup. It makes sense for both guys at this point in their careers.
Do you think, Joe responded he's going to take this fight. What do you think as far as the matchup itself? I mean, we got 2 friggin' high-level grappling submission artists here. Long, fast, technical. Joe's a lot younger. Nate's a lot more experienced. What are you thinking about the matchup itself, fellas?
Here's one of those things when I think of this matchup. Both guys are super slick on the ground. So you're like, oh, they're going to grapple it. It could be one of those fights where they stand and bang. just because they know they're both good on the ground. And, who has the better striking? I probably give Nate the slight edge in striking. But, Joe's evolved and he's still young and he's getting better. And so, but, what do you think, Travis?
I don't know, Joe. I've always liked Joe's striking. I wish he'd go
Awkward.
back to more of it.
It's lanky and awkward.
Yeah, he's
weird angles and stuff like that.
He's unorthodox.
Spinning shit in there.
Yeah.
And I really like it. And I remember seeing on the finale of The Ultimate Fighter, I wish he would have struck with Mike Trizano a little bit more and showed some of that, because everyone knows him as a submission specialist. But he's got some pretty cool techniques standing too. But I'm not saying that by any means he's going to out technical on the feet with Nate. But he's definitely can hold his own. He could throw Nate not some stuff he's never seen before, because Nate's fought at the highest level for PFL. And you look at Nate's two losses that he's had in his last 3 fights, and they're both decisions to Chris Wade. Super tough dude. Nate showed on the regional scene he's a force to be reckoned with regionally, but he has showed that he can sputter in some of the bigger fights. It took him a little bit of too much time both times against Wade to start upping his production in the striking department and to have any chance of winning those decisions. But I think Nate would be more comfortable in the regional scene again, just for a couple rounds. And I think that whoever wins this fight, if this fight was made, could easily be called up to the UFC.
Did you see Joe's response to him? I don't know it word by word, but the last thing he said was that belt would look great in my garage.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta love his confidence. I mean, Joe, he needs this fight. I mean, Nate calls him out. I mean, does he have to take this fight? Unless he goes to the Contender or something like this, is this the fight that he has to take because he's been called out for and he has responded?
Why not?
This would be the biggest way for JoJo to get back to where he should be still, in my opinion, and that's on the UFC roster. And if it's going to come regionally, if it's going to come from inside New England, and Nate's back on the New England scene with CES, this is the fight too. I mean, this launches both of their careers, regardless of who wins. I just think it's one of those blockbuster fights that we can propel one of the best lightweights probably on the East Coast back into the UFC or into the UFC for their first time. This is a great fight to make.
Do you know?
I don't think it.
Do you know
I don't
that
think it gets any better for Joe? Honestly, like, this fell into his lap, and I think it's great. You're fighting a guy who's fought for major promotions for a belt on UFC Fight Pass. The company you want to fight for owns that company, UFC Fight Pass. It'll be a main event. It will hopefully be one of the first cards back, so everybody will be clamoring to go see a live fight. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than that in the regional scene. And if you beat a guy like Nate Andrews, your next call's coming from one of the big boys.
Exactly. And, Joe didn't leave the UFC or leave the Contender, in that, in a positive way in the UFC. But he's been staying the course. He's been behaving himself. He's been producing. He's been doing what he needs to do to get back in the eyes of the UFC. He just got called out by Nate Andrews. He's #1 in New England. The kid has made his way back, so I have to give him credit, and I have to give him, respect for if he, taking this fight. And he is going to the UFC. If he ends up beating Nate, there's no denying. You cannot deny that Joe needs to go back to the UFC in some way, shape, or form. Either Contender Series or a notice fight or something, because but Joe could go before that. I mean, or any of these fighters could go before that. They might not get another regional fight. They might be on the Contender Series. They might be on a late notice fight. They might be on fucking Fighter Island. We don't know, but it's exciting because we have options here, and that big news right there. That's fucking huge. And Matt Bassett's on right now. How about Bruce Boyington fighting somebody, Matt Bassett fighting the guy he was talking about, and Nate Andrews and fucking Joe Giannetti on the same fucking card back. 3 friggin', I don't know, Bruce's wouldn't be a title fight, but you got 2 big title fights there. You got Nate Andrews coming back to the cage, and you got Giannetti for the first time, I think, would be fighting for CES, correct?
It would be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Joe is taking the correct path to get back to the UFC right now. He came off the UFC. He lost a tough fight to Dewan Owens, decision where he just didn't do enough to win, similar to the decision that he lost to Trizano. He just didn't do quite enough to win. Joe then came back with wins over Roberto Young and Connor Berry, two big wins. Against some nice regional talent. His next step has to be up. He was scheduled to fight Luis de Lima for Cage Titans before the pandemic, and this guy was like 11-1 or something. So his next step has to be his launching point for the UFC.
Excellent. And as far as Nate winning this fight, getting that title back, can this get him into the UFC, or what? What do you think what do you think happens to Nate if he wins this fight and he takes out a young gun like Joe Giannetti?
If Nate comes out on the regional scene here and does something, stops Giannetti, I think that it's going to be a one fight trip back to the regional scene for him. Whether he was already due to fight in Bellator, but if he plans on coming back, it may be a one fight stay if he can run through JoJo.
And it'd probably be a quick stop in the number one ranking for lightweight, and then back out when he gets called back up.
Exactly. So huge matchups and talk online, and I love it, man. I mean, we're gonna have things to talk about maybe every week, and hopefully the cards, or we get some chatter about something going on, man. I'm excited. I mean, when Nate, you hear Nate Andrews' name, and then he throws out Joe Giannetti, it's like, holy shit, man. Like, it came out of left field. Like, I wasn't expecting that,
I know. It was great. It was, I think he was on with Pat Sullivan and Steve Maz down at the CES podcast. And it surprised me, too. So it's a cool sound clip, and, we helped them share it and put it out there. So, we appreciate their partnership. But it was smart on his part, He's jumping on the shit talk. Well, not really shit talk. He's jumping on the train of calling people out right now, and I love it. And that's one of the ones we kind of got circled.
Excellent. Let me just announce.
JoJo's never been one to hold his tongue.
What was that, Travis? You broke up for a second.
I said JoJo's never been one to hold his tongue, and he's always called out the top dogs. Called out Slip a couple times. That he wants that fight to happen. When Dubuque was before Dubuque's 3 straight losses, whatever it is, he was on him. JoJo's definitely calling for the top in the ranks, and I think it's time to give him the best New England has to offer at lightweight, coming back into the regional scene.
Excellent. Let's do it. One thing I want to mention, we still have that contest for a free shirt. Travis, say it again.
All right. This is the Rob Font card that I got in the mail today, part of my collection. It is serial numbered out of 50 pieces. If you can guess the number directly on before the show ends, or the closest at the end of the show, you will win a free New England MMA t-shirt. We will send it to you. Probably won't have Corona.
No Corona. I will not wear a mask when I package it.
All right. The 4 or 5 or 12 of you that answered 33, somebody bite and they say 31 or 34. Someone to keep the 33. Fight among yourselves. Someone throw numbers out there, because we got one more thing to talk about before we get.
We're gonna send Connor Berry a t-shirt that says "I'm special."
Is that right?
Or I like numbers.
I wipe my own ass.
No, we're gonna
and numbers.
He's getting a sleeve. That's what he's getting, because everyone's getting a fucking sleeve from the shirt. All right, guys. There was one more thing you wanted to talk about. I didn't put the picture up because I don't want it. I don't want this fight. But there was some chatter with who was the chatter with? Mima and or
Mitch Raposo.
Mitch Raposo was looking for. Mitch Raposo was supposed to fight at 125. He was dropping that down to the 125 class. And then all this shit broke loose. And then when we came out the rankings, he said number 1 and 2 can get it from the flyweights and the professional rankings, meaning he'll go take out Johnny, Mr. Nice Guys. But I want to say that Mitch did reach out to Johnny Lopez, I think after his title fight, to get a matchup with him. I don't know if Johnny Lopez ever got the message, ever if any chatter was ever said, but I know Mitch Raposo wanted to fight Johnny Mr. Nice Guy at 125. I don't know what's happened since then, but you guys do. Why don't you talk about what you saw or what happened on our page or something like that?
I think it was just Raposo was calling out Mima. So I think how it went down is Mima's agent went on and said, "Ooh, rumor has it Darren Mima wants to come out of retirement. Rumor has it he doesn't have corona. Rumor has blah blah blah." So and then Raposo came on and was like, "I'll take that." And he actually sent us a DM as well, help trying to stoke the fire. So we hopped in and we're going to do our job. But it's an interesting matchup. Raposo is ranked 4th, I believe, in our rankings. Mima, he's lost 4 in a row. Granted, he's fought some very tough guys, but he's lost 4 in a row, and he really doesn't have any quality wins unless you look back into like 2015, 2016. He beat Remo Cardarelli twice. So it's been a little while since Mima's put up some big wins. So I guess the fight makes sense from Raposo's perspective. You want to keep that train going. You want to keep that O intact. And I think this is a very winnable fight for him. And it's probably a good fight for Mima too, because if he does surprise people and beats Raposo, he's back in the mix and maybe on our rankings.
And Mima's no stranger to fighting at Cage Titans, where we would imagine this fight would probably take place, since both of them fighters are veterans in that cage at this point. The only point is that Mima's been away for so long, hasn't had a win. What does this do for Mitch? It's like we were talking about the Conor Berry and Jimmy Manning. Do you think this is a bet? Does this? I would imagine Mitch beating Mima has a lot more credibility than Conor beating Manning. Is that your feeling also?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that I think Mitch has the tools to beat Mima. We saw Mima struggle with the wrestling of Tony Gravely in his appearance at CES. Mitch is a top quality wrestler. I'm not saying he's nearly what Tony is as far as his wrestling accolades go, but Mitch is top heavy, and Mima spent a lot of time on his back in that CES title challenge. So I think if Mitch really wants to bite that off, that he has a chance of winning. But I mean, I think a smarter move would be to take somebody that's non-regional for Mitch, get him a little bit. I don't want to say pad his record, but I think Mima is definitely a challenge and a huge step for him as far as competition goes. Mima is a veteran. He fought overseas in Russia for a little while. It's not that he hasn't fought the name opponents that we think that we should hear from people in New England, because he's been fighting all over the world. And he came back to some tough competition running into Tony. So I think this would be a huge step for Mitch. And I think this would be one of the fights that would get him more notice. Not that he hasn't been noticed already, but he beats Mima. He's the top flyweight probably in prospect eyes in New England for sure.
So Mima's he's a 125, so this fight would be taking place at 125, correct?
I would imagine so. I don't imagine Mitch fighting any other weight class to get noticed for that. I mean, I think it would have to go down to 25.
Excellent. Well, that came out of, I had know nothing about that fight, and then you guys mentioned it to me, and I saw the post about Darren coming back, and it's probably, I think it's Wolf tickets that his manager's sending out there. Probably saw our rankings that Mima fell off him. Which, I mean, he was on Tapology for so long. I mean, but people look at them rankings and they see their name not on them anymore, or they see who's up there and the new talent that's out there. These veterans come back and they go, hey, I want to go out there and maybe spoil someone's party or get back in the game. Do you think Mima's can get back in the game, or is this just something? What do you think about his upside?
Mima can get back to this. I mean, he's been gone for a little while, but like I said, 4-fight losing streak, but it's been against some dudes. So I don't think that that he would have any trouble coming back to the region and competing. But not sure how he stands against Mitch. It would be a test. We know a lot about Mima after the fight with Mitch. That's for sure.
Excellent. Anything last from you on this fight here, Lars?
Yeah, no. Mima, I think, deserves to be considered in our rankings, but it's really difficult to include somebody who's 1-5 in their last 5 fights, regardless of who they fought. He obviously doesn't take easy fights. So this is definitely a step up in competition for Mitch. But the kid hasn't, we haven't seen one flaw from Mitch Raposo yet. Mitch 7 or 8 fights
Mitch just responded. He said no twice. He don't want it. I will finish.
Yeah, he'll finish him on the feet. Mitch says he'll finish him on the feet.
I'll finish him on the feet, though. All right, so
wow.
He don't want the fight. So Mitch is gonna go after another stud, or maybe this podcast.
So what does that tell you? I think that tells you Darren and his agent or manager are looking to get a win.
They're throwing wolf tickets out there. That's what I say, wolf tickets. It's easy to listen. It's easy to throw things out there when fights aren't happening. You know what I mean? It's easy to accept the matchup. Oh yeah, I'll fight you, knowing that fights might not happen for 6 months, and a million things can happen before that happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
So everything going on right now is great that we're talking about. It could change in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It could change, but it's great, and it makes sense. These fights, as we talk to them tonight. Except for the Manning and the Conor Berry one, but I mean, if the fans want it, we are not gonna deny what the fans want, and we will push it and support anything that any matchups that are gonna put fans in the stands.
Yeah, and
I mean, I think we filled out a fight card tonight.
Yeah, we did, and hopefully the promoters are watching this, or at least paying attention to this chatter, because we're giving them fights on a silver platter. I just rapped. But, I mean, who knows when these fights are going to happen, but there's talk, people are watching it. Let's get it done, and we'll see which guys actually want to have these fights happen. It takes 2 to tango. Usually one person maybe doesn't want to do it. So let's see. Let's see if we can get the contract.
Yeah, like Rath said, don't be a Tyler King and just overcharge so you don't have to fight these guys. Well, if you guys want to fight and you guys have agreed to it online, let's go. Put the pocketbook aside. You'll make enough money off the fight. You'll sell a bunch of tickets. Just make it happen.
Well. Here's the thing.
GoFundMe.
Here's the thing. This podcast, I mean, people usually watch it the next day, the next 2 or 3 days. So they're going to be chiming in because we did talk about a lot of stuff here, Nate Andrews and stuff like that. So people are going to be coming in. What I'm also going to do is clip out the each section we talked about, each matchup. So that's going to get chatted too. So with that chatter, that'll develop new chatter because these fighters have fighters' friends and they're fighters too. So they might be matching up with other fighters' friends. There's going to be a shitload of talking going on here, and that's all we can do right now. Because fights aren't going on unless you're in the UFC or one of them major promotions getting it done. So this is what we do, fellas. We talk and we got the chatter there for when things get going again. We're ahead of the curve here.
Guys, don't be the last guy standing at the ice cream truck when they run out of ice cream cones. Call your shot now.
Yeah, I think if you were to told me that we'd have this much chatter and talk of matchups going on right now in a period where we haven't had regional MMA in 3 or 4 months and might not have it for another 3 or 4 months or whatever, we've had this much chatter, I'd be like, you're bullshitting me. But this is great. People are interested, and we got something to talk about with this downtime. So let's make it happen.
All right.
We should probably give the T-shirt away. I got to put my kids to bed.
Yeah, all right. One more thing I want to say. Terrence, I got to give him he mentioned something. He goes, I want to get in on this too. Terrence wants a rematch. And you know who that would be against.
Yeah.
So that's a big fight too if it was a rematch. But we know where Knight is going. I do believe Knight is scheduled to make another contender appearance. I think I did see his name on.
Yeah.
All right, so he's already set. Terrence could be going there too. We don't know. But I don't see that fight happening unless something transpires down the line as far as these two guys. But I love that Terrence wants that fight again. That shows you where he is and his state of mind and how confident he is nowadays. He just won that Premier title. And sky's the limit for him also. Young prospect. A monster. He's a monster and a good dude. And I want good things for these guys. So that's about it, guys. Lars got to put his kids to bed. Anything you want to say? Final thing. Lars has got to go. Lars is ready to press the button. Let me out of here.
Well, let's do the T-shirt.
All right. Now wait a minute. Everyone throw their last numbers in now. Throw their last numbers in, or do you want to pick?
Right now.
If you haven't guessed it.
Yeah, we'll give them.
I already got.
We'll give them 1 minute.
Oh, someone guessed it. Wait a minute. Someone guessed it.
No, someone's close.
All right.
They're closest.
All right. We're gonna give it away here. Then we're not gonna let people answer after the show. You got to be on the show to fucking answer. So we're giving it a 3 this time. Connor threw a 3 in there. All right. So we're gonna give it a 10-second countdown, and then we're gonna pick the winner. Do you know who the winner would be if they didn't get the number?
I do.
All right. Here we go. Throw your numbers out there. Megan Marie, just throw a number 1 through 50. No, you just came on the show. You're not involved.
Connor Berry guessed car. Is that a valid answer?
That's like squirrel. Squirrel? All right, 10.
Octagon.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Cam Arnold guessed 33 again.
Fucking Cam Arnold with the 33. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to have to fucking cut the shirt in 4 parts. All right, Travis, who won the shirt?
Robert D. Smith from Smith and Anchor Printing is going to get one of our T-shirts. He guessed 18 and it was 19.
Oh, that's fucking great. He makes T-shirts.
The T-shirt guy won a fucking T-shirt.
T-shirt won a T-shirt. That's awesome. Mr. Rob Smith, you won the shirt. So Laz will get that out to you. Just message your address and we'll get that out to you as soon as Laz takes it out of the cobwebs.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
and you know what size you want too.
All right, guys, I'm gonna play the last two the videos again that Lars put out today, the pro and the amateurs, and we're out of here. So with that said, Lars and Travis, say bye, and we'll see you next week. I like having you guys here, keeping me company every week, and we're doing great things. So we'll be back next week again with these. It might not be Wednesday. We got to figure out with what time Lars Travis is working. So we'll keep in touch, and we'll let you know what our show is going to be like next week. So with that said, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. It was a great fucking show, man. We got a lot done tonight, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us, NewEnglandMMA.org. Look for us everywhere. Just throw it in Google. We're there.
YouTube. Follow us
everywhere. Yeah, we need to push the YouTube channel. We need to push the YouTube channel because eventually we're going to be going live there, and we can do so much more. So with that said, here is the 2 videos that Lars made for us. So
my wife's going to cut my dick off.
Yeah. All right, we're going. Bye. You guys can leave.